We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Waterfield.
Oh boy, sounds like we lost Chris.
Okay. What's going on? Is he gone?
Chris is here and he's talking, but he can't hear us for some reason, and I'm going to work through that here in just a moment. So give me just a moment here.
It sounds to me like we can't hear Chris, right?
Yeah, I'm not able to hear Chris either.
So there must be something terribly wrong.
Hey, Joan, you want to crack more jokes at my expense?
Well, no, because sometimes, somehow, though, they always end up coming back on me.
Oh,
So-
are people attacking you for the funny, nasty jokes
Well,
you said
actually,
to me?
someone said, Joan, by the time you have to explain the joke to Dan, it's no longer funny.
No, it's not. All right, so I'm trying to
Check.
Well, that sounded good.
Yeah.
All right, so hold
like
on.
he's there.
Make sure Chris knows he's on the air.
Hello, Chris?
So,
I'd say it's a no.
do you know Chris, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys fine. I was jumping into my opening monologue. I didn't know that the audio dropped.
No, Chris, I got to tell you, Chris, the audio didn't drop. Corporate called, and they didn't like your content.
You're done.
So I'm letting you
Turn
know.
in your key card.
You've got to completely change your entire show.
Well, I was just talking about how grateful I was to be able to do the show from home this morning. So it was like, of course, I jinx it and butcher the whole thing. But I got to kick off the morning. I have some kids going to school. And, first day of school for a kindergartner and a second grader and a sixth grader. And to be able to be here and spend some time with those guys and cook scrambled eggs and cook the corned beef hash and have that morning with them has been just unbelievable. So thank you to management for allowing it to happen. And I'm sorry if there's any technical difficulties along the way. We'll work through them as they come up. There's a lot to get to today on the news front, and we're very grateful to have a president in the office that knows what he's doing.
Oh, my goodness.
Executive orders here momentarily. And then we're going to have him greeting the president of South Korea. Yeah, the president of South Korea is going to be joining the president in the White House. And President Trump is going to be meeting with the president of South Korea, and he's going to press them to pay more. And when I say more, I mean significantly more for the nearly 30,000 U.S. troops that are stationed in South Korea. This is what America First looks like in real time, and we're going to see it at the White House today. Now, South Korea, it kind of reminds you a lot of what's going on with some of our NATO allies before we got their spending up. See, in South Korea, we have, again, nearly 30,000 troops, but they're only spending about 3.5% of their GDP on defense. Now, if you look at South Korea's GDP in 2024, their GDP was approximately 1.87 trillion. So if you do some napkin math, which is my favorite kind of math, that equates to about $65.4 billion at 3.5% of 1.87 trillion. Now, 5% of 1.8.
Hold on.
And we're looking forward to that. Everything good on you guys' end? You guys all hear me very well and clear?
You're coming through pretty clear. It's just for some reason every little bit here you're cutting out, and I'm not sure what's going on. So I'm dealing with some stuff behind the scenes. We'll get it figured out here.
Okay, perfect. Well, keep me posted, and we can pivot should we need to,
Absolutely.
and figure something else out. But the president is welcoming in some pretty big time guests today to the White House, and we're looking forward to see what's happening. I'm definitely keeping my eye on the social medias and seeing what's going to happen with the president, what executive orders he's going to be signing, and when he signs them, we'll have them for you here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN with all the latest updates. Thank you for listening to us wherever you may be listening. There's a myriad of options. iHeartRadio, TuneIn, the
Yeah, we're having some weird technical issues this morning. I don't know why Chris is cutting out in and out here, but we're working through them here at the station.
Do you want to try to go to a break first here?
Yeah,
and
here.
then, yeah.
Yeah, I'll let him know. We'll take care of this. We're going to go to a break real quick, guys, and we'll be right back, all right?
Coming up here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, why the city of Lewisburg is about to hire an outside law firm, and what we know about the items that were removed by the FBI from John Bolton's home. Those stories coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, Joan, I'm going to take over here until Chris comes back in. I guess he's driving in.
Oh, that's a shame.
So, yeah.
But he got to see his kids off, so.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
Yeah.
He got to see his kids off. Mm-hmm. If he wasn't crying then, he's crying now.
Oh, I think he definitely is.
Because he's got to drive into work.
Yeah. Let me look at the roads here and see how
what the
bad
great
it's going
thing
to
is,
be.
though? Like,
Yeah.
I instantly sound cooler with Chris's bumper music. I've noticed that.
It's a mirage.
Yes. Illusion and visualization is everything.
Do you know what? I didn't realize this, but in Joan's official job description,
Yeah.
it's part of it is keeping the host humble.
Yes. It is part of my job description.
That's exactly right. All right, real quick, you're talking about John Bolton
Yeah.
because I'm trying to find content here, of course. So I got to hang out for Chris for a little bit. So you had I got some video here. I don't know if we.
Oh, you have video?
Well,
That's
I
pretty
do,
good.
but I don't know if we're not actually hooked up for that, and I don't want to go through all that rigmarole.
Okay.
But Scott Jennings was talking about this over the weekend, and he used John Bolton's words to hang him. I want you to listen to this. This was, again, Scott Jennings on CNN.
Scott, I mean, what do you see here?
Well, I'm reminded of something that I heard someone say after the Mar-a-Lago raid, and the statement was everybody ought to just calm down, whether you're pro-Trump or anti-Trump, and let the process work its way through. That was said by John Bolton himself after the Mar-a-Lago raid on Trump. Look, I try not to engage too much in conjecture on these things. All we really know is what Caitlin just told us, that this is related to an investigation regarding information he put in his book. We know that they're searching for things, and that's it. That's what we know. And so Ambassador Bolton's previous views on this were that processes should be allowed to work their way through. I assume this one will work its way through, and if he has not disclosed any classified information, that will be fine and good, and we'll talk about that. And if he has, I'm sure we'll talk about it as well.
Scott.
Yeah, so the problem is, that was a clip from, I think, Friday. The problem is that apparently they believe that Bolton was emailing these classified sensitive documents to family members.
That's the craziest thing I've ever. Which family members, and is there a reason why they would be interested in these documents?
I don't know. And you would think that a man of his stature,
He would know better.
he would know better.
Definitely.
By the way, they have uncovered. Oh, go ahead, Joan.
Well, also JD Vance was out there talking about it as well. He spoke about it with Kristen Welker on NBC on Sunday on Meet the Press. And he also reiterated kind of the same point. Classified documents are a part of it, a part of the investigation. But I think that there's a broad concern about Ambassador Bolton. They're going to look into it. And if there's no crime here, we're not going to prosecute. But two courts had to clear this type of investigation, that they entered his home. So a couple of courts cleared it, and it appears that there's quite a bit of evidence that there may be something that happened that was wrong.
Well, yeah, and the courts are in the FBI. They can clear the information, but if he was emailing those documents, that's a whole different thing.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So if this may not necessarily be about what was in the book and more what he emailed, which again is crazy. And I don't know if our country, if our politicians in Washington, D.C., are they this lackadaisical? Where they just, Joe Biden and, keeping the classified documents next to the Corvette in the garage.
Right.
Or now John Bolton, who, of course, he apparently, we'll have to see where the whole thing goes, but, emailing these documents as well. By the way, they did find the information, the quote from John Bolton on when he was commenting about Donald Trump and the accusations against Trump.
And I think it's important that everybody take a deep breath here. This is a very serious matter, and it would be better if we could let the legal process play out. I know
that this is actually
yes,
a
it is
very
a legal
serious
process.
matter. And yeah, let's see how the process plays out.
I know that may be frustrating to some people, but the seriousness of it itself dictates that we try and proceed in the most orderly way we can.
So there you go. I mean, John Bolton, he's in a heap of trouble. And I wonder if he knew. Because you remember, Joan, when Trump won the second time, it was almost as much of a shock as the first time. And so, because they thought that, Kamala Harris and all the wokesterati out there and all the media and everybody else would be able to sell Kamala Harris to the American people.
Yes.
And clearly they did not. I mean, obviously, we all know what happened. So I wonder if people like John Bolton and James Comey and some of these other folks, I wonder if they were anticipating this, where they know what they did wrong. They know that they did things that maybe could be perceived as wrong. And so now it's just a matter of, okay, so what did they do? And let's see if what they did was is something where they could be charged with a crime. Because that's what Donald Trump is trying to do. You're going to have all of these debates about, Donald Trump is going after his political enemies. He's really not. If they did something wrong, then they need to pay the consequences.
Right.
And, James Comey is another one. John Brennan is another one. Clapper is another one. James Clapper is another one. I don't know about Obama. I don't know if he's ever going to suffer any consequences for what he did. But, obviously we'll have to wait and see. As John Bolton said, we'll have to see where this investigation goes. I also find it interesting that the more that we start to find out about what James Clapper and John Brennan and all these people have done, I do wonder if the American people are going to watch this and see as this whole thing plays out, and will it serve as an inspiration for them to look closer at all of the things that Donald Trump has said over the years related to the accusations against him from the Democrats, when in reality they were either, number one, the people that started all of this, whether it was the Mueller investigation, or they themselves were doing what they were accusing Donald Trump of doing. Because the whole Mar-a-Lago thing, that was all the reason they ultimately, we now know, the reason they did that was in rifling through Melania's underwear drawer, is to see if they could find the documents that implicated, let's say, for example, the FBI or the intelligence agencies. So there's a lot to this story. And the question is, okay, so is this going to be what our government is going to be doing moving forward? Is just going after past administrations. Now, I'm not saying that Trump shouldn't be going after John Bolton, who, by the way, was part of his administration the first time around. But, okay, so Lord help us. But if the Democrats end up getting back into office, now are they going to start going after this Trump administration?
It could trigger a cycle that we don't want. This is what you see in third world countries. And so I don't know if that's the thing that we want to see in our country if it continues to happen. So maybe the answer to that is that it just stays in Republican hands, the control of the country.
That's what we need to do, Joan.
Well, that's essentially what they're aiming to do by picking up those 5 seats in Texas.
Yep.
For the House of Representatives. And it looks like they're going to try and do it in some other states as well.
I think Missouri came out over the weekend and said, we're going to do the same thing. So, this is going to be a gerrymandering battle. I think that's part of what's going to be going on. Hey, did you hear what Rosie O'Donnell said over the weekend?
Oh, no. What now?
Listen to this. She says that apparently she has started drinking and overeating because of Donald Trump.
During his first go-round, it was very difficult, and I got myself into some bad places. I was very, very depressed. I was overeating. I was over-drinking. I was so depressed, Chris. I can't, it hurt my heart that America believed the lies about him. And then it broke my heart to be in a business that creates and sells those lies for profit. It was very heavy, to tell you the truth. All
right, so there you go. By the way, and I wish we had video right now.
Yeah.
I'll leave this up for Chris so that he can play it.
She doesn't sound so good right now.
Well, she doesn't sound so good, and she looks, listen,
Is it bad?
I'm not much of a looker myself, but she looks terrible. But the other thing is, not only does she look bad, Joan.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave this up for Chris, so when he gets here, he can play it.
Yeah.
But she's got an extreme close-up on her face.
Oh.
Because she clearly, I don't know, maybe she's drunk now, but it's an extreme close-up where you can see up her nostrils.
Oh.
I mean, that's what I'm
needs
saying.
that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
So and her nose is like red. And so now she has lost a crap ton of weight. You know that. Have you noticed that she's lost a lot of weight?
No.
Rosie O'Donnell?
I
Yeah.
try not to watch Rosie O'Donnell. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. But I mock her, you know,
Sure.
because she mocks Trump. So I think I think equal opportunity mocking, you know, goes around. If she's going to mock Trump all the time, and if they're going to talk about Trump supporters, then we're going to, you know, return the favor. You were saying that J.D. Vance was talking about John Bolton?
Yes.
Let's see
To Kristen
here.
Welker.
I wish I had that. So I had to jump back on the air. So I'm kind of looking through some of the stuff that I didn't use earlier today because I don't want to.
One thing that you just have to check out.
Yes.
I just tweeted this. The White House is out now talking about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who, you know, just to recap, was taken into custody again this morning. He had to show up at the ICE offices in Baltimore. And when he did, they took him into custody right away. And they do plan to deport him. So the White House tweets out this morning a picture, one of those, I don't even know what style picture this is, of Kilmar Abrego Garcia with a hat on. And at the bottom it says MS-13. And they said, still not a Maryland dad. This is from the official White House account.
Yep.
They tweeted it out. So I retweeted it. You can follow me at Joan Jones WTN.
Joan,
Yeah.
I need you today, and I don't ask me why.
You need me
except
every day, but go on.
I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
I need you. Oh, that's good. That's funny.
Yeah.
To go out and play the lottery today.
Yeah, so I heard about this.
Do you know why?
Yeah. Well, how much is it?
Well, I don't know, and I don't care. Today is your lucky day.
Oh.
Do you know why?
Why?
I am following you on Twitter.
Finally?
I just did it.
For
It's
the
your lucky
first time?
day, Joan.
Wow.
Joan P.
Okay,
Jones.
so here you go. The jackpot, the Powerball jackpot is at $750 million.
No kidding.
So,
All right.
yes, maybe I will do that, Dan.
And then if you win, I know that you're going to stay on Nashville's Morning News because you just love seeing my purdy face at 4 o'clock in the morning every single day.
Love getting up at 2 a.m. Oh, yeah, sure.
All right, coming up, and I'm in for Chris right now because we had an issue with his line, so he's driving in. I'm going to find that audio of J.D. Vance and what he had to say about John Bolton and the classified documents that he apparently emailed to family members. I'm curious as to whether or not this may have had something to do with maybe a ghostwriter.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Okay, well, that would make sense.
Yeah, it would make sense. Okay, so here's the classified documents. Take them and put them into my words, please, Mr. Ghostwriter or family member, whatever it is. All right, so I guess it's 9:30, and this is where we go to News with Joan, right? On Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The city of Lewisburg begins the search for an outside law firm today. Channel 4's Amanda Hara tells us they're investigating the Lewisburg city manager.
Roy Hayslip faces multiple charges connected to stalking a city employee. He was arrested last week.
Hayslip has also been suspended from the council without pay, by the council without pay. In Rutherford County over the weekend, a man who had been reported missing was discovered dead in his wrecker truck that had run off I-24 and crashed. 68-year-old Danny Brown died after that truck hit a sign and a tree. Brown had been missing for a week before his truck and his body were found. Legal experts are saying it could be months before we learn exactly what the FBI took from John Bolton's home and office. President Trump's former national security advisor has been a vocal critic of the president and his administration.
2 judges did agree with the government that there was probable cause to search his home and office. That bar is really high. That does not mean he committed a crime. That does not mean he'll ultimately be charged, but there was probable cause to enter his home and his office and seize items.
That's ABC's Catherine Falders there. We do know that FBI agents left Bolton's home with boxes filled with documents and with electronics. The Dow Jones Industrials right now are down 182 points, but the NASDAQ up above. It's up 1 point this morning. S&P 500 index is down 12. That's the latest news. We've got your weather coming up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Should kids be on this platform, period?
No, it's not worth it. It's only going to create headaches for you.
Roblox itself, it is a predator haven. There are games on Roblox like XYZ Public Bathroom Simulator. That's about 7 million visits, and the whole premise of the game is showering together with kids.
It's basically open season for sex predators on this app. For this reason and all of the others that we've talked about today, Roblox is violating Louisiana law.
If you join it, you're going to see predators, you're going to see naked avatars, you're going to see people peeing and all this sort of weird stuff. If I was a parent and I saw that, I would be outraged. I would be totally outraged. And parents aren't aware of this.
Because there is so much content and it's so difficult to monitor, and there's, 40% of their users are under the age of 13, of course it's a place where predators have learned how to network and gather and groom children.
.936 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Madison for Chris Hand. Had some problems See, now I know why Chris does sound so cool. It is the music. Joan, agree? I sound so much cooler over Chris Hand music. It's making me cool.
You need some sunglasses, Dan.
That's
and
what I
not just
need.
because you're hungover.
But mainly because you're hungover.
Hungover and jet lagged. That was my excuse for a sucky morning show.
Yeah.
Now I'm
Now you've
messing
got
up
cool
Chris Hand's
music.
show.
Now you've got cool music backing you. You can't be sucky here.
It's exactly right. All right, real quick. So we did find some of that audio. Joan, you and I were talking about this.
Yeah.
So he really handled Kirsten Welker well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't see this interview because I just cannot stand Kirsten Welker. She's got this, the way that she speaks, where it's like she believes that she is asking the most important question in the world.
Yes.
Have you noticed this about her? There's a lot of self-aggrandizing in the way that she asks questions. So anyway, she is out there and she's interviewing the vice president, and she says, a lot of people say that going after John Bolton, it looks like retribution. Here's how that went.
But a lot of people have already looked at this and said, this looks a lot like retribution. Is this retribution?
Well, who has said it looks a lot like retribution, Kristen? A lot of people who tried to throw Donald Trump in prison for completely fake charges that were later thrown out by multiple different courts. I suspect that if the media and the American people let this case actually unfold, if they let the investigation unfold as it's currently doing, they're going to find out that what we're doing is being very deliberate and being very driven by the national interest and by the law here, and that's as it should be.
But
I mean, she absolutely right. I mean, I love what J.D. Vance had to say to Kirsten Welker, and I think that no one is above the law. We keep just going back to that, don't we? No one is above the law.
I love, though, that he challenges her description. Who says?
Yep.
Who says that?
Yep. You're absolutely right.
It's a beautiful thing.
Let's see here. Let's just play some of this audio. Let's see here. She asked him if he is running for president in 2028. Now, this is Joan and I like sometimes on the morning show. We'll play fun with audio, which means that neither one of us have heard the audio. Or maybe you have, Joan. I haven't.
And the producer hangs by the dump button to make sure that nothing slips through.
Thank you, Mason. And the producer hangs out by the dump button. So this is Kirsten Welker asking J.D. Vance if he's running for president in 2028. Is he going to, carry that that mantle, that MAGA mantle?
The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Elon Musk is halting his plans to create a new political party, in part because he wants to support you for president in 2028. I know you've been asked about this. You said you have not discussed this with him.
That's right.
But do you see yourself as the apparent future of the MAGA movement?
No, I see myself as a vice president who's trying to do a good job for the American people, Kristen. And if I do a good job, and if the president continues to be successful, as I know that he will be, the politics will take care of itself. We can cross that bridge when we come to it. But
he's totally running. You know how I know, Joan?
How do you know?
He's wearing the American flag on his lapel.
Oh, yeah.
That's how
Dead
you know
giveaway.
he's running. Dead giveaway.
Yeah.
we just had an election 7 months ago. I think I'm probably like most Americans, and I'm already sick of talking about politics after a big general election. The next election that matters is not the election of 2028, it's 2026. So before we talk about anything 3.5 years down the road, let's take a break from politics, focus on governing the country, and when we return to politics, it's going to be to focus on those midterm elections.
Have you had any conversations with President Trump about him passing the torch on to you?
As you know, the president talks about everything. And if it's in the news, the president and I have certainly discussed it. But I think the president is just focused on doing a good job for the American people. He wants me to be focused on doing a good job for the American people. That's what I'll keep on doing. And again, if we take care of business, if America is safer, if it's more prosperous, if young people can afford to buy a home, if we actually bring peace to all these regions of the world, which we've made great progress in doing, the politics will take care of itself.
There you go. The politics will take care of itself. You know what? I translate that to I'm running in 2028. JD for 2028.
Yeah.
There's got to be a good JD. I don't know. There's got to be some sort of a great little slogan for JD. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As he's running, I'm sure somebody can think of something. Because when he was running for VP, I coined the brilliant phrase JD for VP. That was me. I did that. I started that.
All
here
by
on
yourself,
WTO.
Dan?
All by myself is what I did. I know.
Tell ya.
Blind squirrel in the nut, that whole thing again.
Yeah,
Just keep going down that road. All right, so President Trump, real quickly, President Trump, of course, as you all know, he said that he is going to send the National Guard to Chicago. Now, I did talk about this in the 5 o'clock hour, but I'm going to revisit it here. I think that Donald Trump is trolling the Democrats. And here's what I mean by that. What I mean by that is everyone knows that, I believe anyway, that the crime, the violent crime is a lot worse in Memphis. Some people say the violent crime is even worse in Nashville, worse than it is in Chicago. But you see, here's the thing that I would say about this. What Donald Trump is actually doing is he is trolling the Democrats. He is setting a trap for the Democrats because he's saying, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to force the Democrats, and I did a little reel about this the other day, and a lot of folks watched it, seemed to like it as well. Basically, what Donald Trump is doing is he is saving black lives by trying to stop the murders. He has done that in Washington, D.C., and he is going to continue to do that in Democrat-run cities across the country. But why is he focused on Chicago and not Memphis? The reason why he is focused on Chicago, even though Memphis has a higher rate of violent crime and murders, is because he wants to paint the Democrats in Chicago into a corner. He wants to get them into a position where they are literally, as they've been screaming Black Lives Matter, he wants to put them in a position where they have to go against him and say, no, don't bring the National Guard to Chicago. We want to continue to see black people murdered. Literally, that's the position that he has put the Democrats in.
And he's done it with so many issues over and over again, the whole transgender thing. I mean, he just continues to put them in the same position.
It's like he's going, hey, watch this. Hey, hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. Exactly.
And they do. They fall for it every time because, and we're talking about this in the 5 o'clock hour, Joan, where it was like, how many lives have been saved in Washington, D.C.? How many people are alive right now because the National Guard is there? They haven't had a murder in, I think we figured out, I don't know what, since the National Guard came in.
Yeah.
They have not had a murder. How many lives, and specifically, how many black lives have been saved?
It's been 12 days.
It's been 12 days?
12 days since there's been a murder in D.C. That's insane.
So now the lesson has been taught to the American people that Donald Trump knows how to save black lives. So as the Democrats are sitting around and saying, oh, Black Lives Matter, and all that kind of stupidity, right. If Black Lives Matter really do matter to the Democrats, if Black lives really do matter to the Democrats, then they will allow Donald Trump to bring in the National Guard into Chicago and save all those lives, and specifically save black lives. But they're not going to do that. They are going to fight him at every single turn. This is the president, and I need some audio if I could. President Trump had a lot to say over the, I think this was on Friday when the president was talking about this. And he said, yeah, you know what? Chicago is a very dangerous place. And what we need to do is we need to be able to save the people of Chicago. And I really do. I like what the president had to say. And what the president had to say is that, yes, Chicago very well could be next. I've got audio playing somewhere, and I'm trying to stall until I figure out where the heck the audio, there it is, where the audio
We're really
is
having
coming
issues
from.
today.
No, well, the problem was I had closed out all my windows.
Oh, I see.
And so now I'm,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the reaction would be of our conservative state legislature and our Republican governor if Donald Trump said, I want to save Memphis. I want to save the home of Elvis Presley. I want to bring in the National Guard. I would be willing to bet that our state legislature and the governor would be like, please come and save us, because Republicans appreciate law and order as opposed to the Democrats, which, they don't. So to me, I think that the president is playing this absolutely positively, perfectly, and I love it. Brandon Johnson is the mayor. Here it is. Brandon Johnson is the mayor of Chicago, and let me play this audio from him. And he was asked about this. He's on CNN. And I want you to listen to what he had to say. Again, this is Brandon Johnson, mayor of Chicago.
And so, look, we're going to remain firm. We'll take legal action. But the people of this city are accustomed to rising up against tyranny.
That's what he said. He said Donald Trump wanting to send in the National Guard to save black lives is actually tyranny. That's what Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, says. Rise up and the other thing that he's doing is he telling the community in Chicago to rise up against the National Guard?
Yeah.
Is this
inciting violence?
Is this a dog whistle for violence? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. Brandon Johnson.
And if that's necessary, I believe that the people of Chicago will stand firm alongside of me as I work every single day to protect the people of this city.
Really, Brandon Johnson, to protect the people of this city. Should we start talking about how many people have been killed over Chicago in what I'm sure has been a very bloody summer in Chicago? If Sam were here, I'd say, hey, Sam, can you Google that? However, we've got Mason here. Mason, can you find out how many people, because listen, Brandon Johnson has been protecting the people of Chicago. He's on it. There's no need to bring in the National Guard. People are not being murdered in Chicago. They're not playing the knockout game in Chicago where innocent old ladies are, walking down the street and getting knocked over the side of the head. Chicago has had no problems this summer. Mason, how many people have been murdered in Chicago thus far here in 2025? Because I bet you it's like, what do you think, Joan? Is it over 100?
How many people have been
murdered in Chicago here in 2025? I have no idea what that number is. I know that it's a lot.
There have been 254 homicides in Chicago so far this year.
But Brandon Johnson is on it, though, Joan.
He's on it.
Brandon Johnson is on it. He's been protecting the people of Chicago.
But
and do you think MSNBC asked him, okay, well, if you're protecting the people of Chicago, how come you have a total of, what was it, 254? 254 people murdered. How were you not protecting them?
See, this is another place where this is mimicking everything that's happening right now in D.C. because according to the data from the city and Chicago Police Departments, total violent crime is down at least 22% so far this year.
Whatever.
Yeah. No, I mean, so now they're going to have to defend their record keeping.
Oh, yeah.
Because you bet the Trump administration is going to go in there and take a look at the books.
They need to. They really do need to look at the books because for the Republicans, I mean, we've caught them red-handed. We caught them red-handed in D.C., fudging the books. And so when the Democrats undoubtedly will say, oh, well, crime is on the downturn.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really, or have you been fudging the books? Because I think it is clear that they've been fudging the books. Oh, I didn't get to play this. Speaking of fudging the books, I'm actually glad Chris is late because I had a great audio cut that I didn't get to play on the morning show. He's going to kill me for saying that, by the way.
Yeah, I was like, watch out.
I know. Let's see here. This is Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla. Now, both, I don't know if Adam Carolla has actually moved out of California yet. I think that Dr. Drew does still live in California.
Okay.
But you know who they're talking about? Gavin Newsom. So you want to get conservative Republicans ticked off or independents from California ticked off, just start talking about Gavin Newsom. Oh, we're in delay, right? Yeah, we're in delay. All right, so this is Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla talking about the train wreck that is Gavin Newsom.
Why aren't you protecting the folks there? 8 of the top 10 murder states in this country, red states. What bullshit?
Yeah, all right, so that is, and it was bleeped. So that is classic Gavin Newsom. We've talked about this last week, Joan.
Yeah.
Where the left, and we've been debunking this since they started this argument, where the people like Gavin Newsom will say, look at a state like Tennessee. Look at the fact that Tennessee, is one of the leaders in murders. Well, it's because we're stuck with Memphis and Nashville. particularly Memphis, where they have all of those murders. Democrat-run, I talked about this last week. Democrat-run cities that are in the middle of conservative states. And so you have Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew calling out Gavin Newsom on manipulated data.
Why aren't you protecting the folks there? 8 of the top 10 murder states in this country, red states. What bullshit?
So classic Newsom just on social media. He comes out and goes, I don't know what Trump is talking about. 8 out of 10 of the top state murder rates are in red states, which he was right. That is true.
Right.
But of course, when you go and then look at what the cities are, 9 out of 10 are Democrat, and the only one that's not Democrat just switched to Republican 6 months ago, and it's on its way down.
Yeah, it's all the cities that are Democrat run.
Such a classic Newsom manipulation. He doesn't know the bullshit he's spewing. It's really wild to see him do that.
Well, all he has is manipulation of numbers and statistics and workarounds. That's all he really has.
I mean, isn't that what they have? Lies, obfuscations, manipulated data. That's the only way that they look electable, quite frankly, is if they lie about their record.
When you don't have the truth, that's about all you got. It's interesting that he's going to go, sort of try this on the world stage now. We'll see if people are, if the word is dumb enough, but
yes, that's the word.
Something enough to buy into that.
I think, is the word dumb enough? I think the phrase is dumb enough.
I was like, maybe you're just pretending to be dumb. Now I don't think it's an act.
Did you do that, Mason?
That's me. Sorry.
Okay, good. I really appreciate just throwing things in.
Welcome to the Chris Hand Show, Dan.
Is that what it is? Is that what you do on the Chris Hand Show? Just randomly throw in
Plays
audio?
cool music and throws in audio. Yeah.
And that was David Spade, right?
That was Tucker Carlson.
Same thing. All right.
Yeah, same thing.
I knew that.
Of course you did.
Mm-hmm. All right, it is 9:53, and Dan's in for Chris. Is he here yet? Is Chris here yet?
Let me check here. I haven't gotten.
So,
do you track him on
Yep, I have. I have a.
Do you have him on a blue dot on your phone? You
no,
creeper?
I don't. I was gonna say I have an AirTag hidden on his car, but that would be weird.
That's funny. All right, we're going to take a break, and then I think Chris will probably be here by 10:05.
Yeah, he should be here by the first.
All right, very good. Well, we're going to take a break, and we'll return next on WTN.
Coming up here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, the Maryland man has lost his newfound freedom this morning. We've got the latest on Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Also, GLP-1s, they may be used now for new purposes, not just for weight loss anymore. Those stories coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So, Joan, we're having fun with what would a nice little slogan be for J.D. Vance running for president?
Yeah.
TB says 2028, let's dance with Vance.
Oh.
Chuck says Vance will advance. Mike H says JD for you and me. See, D and me. JD.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Well, JD for you and me. Advancing the MAGA movement. Joan Jones for president.
That's just Larry.
Wow, that's just Larry.
Not just Larry. It's just that he's kind and he always says stuff like that. So.
And a lot of people, Larry's awesome. The other, a lot of people commenting on what I said about Governor Lee sending in the National Guard into Memphis. I had a big monologue on that last week. But yeah, I agree that if Governor Lee, if he really wanted to, he would send in the National Guard into Memphis. What am I doing here? Am I supposed to be done now?
JDV, okay. We shall see.
JDV. JDV, we shall see. Oh, very good. All right. Chris is just moments away. Hopefully he'll be back by the time Jones' newscast is over. We'll return next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And Kilmar Abrego Garcia's freedom lasted for 1 weekend. He was released from custody here in Tennessee on Friday and then ordered to report to ICE in Baltimore this morning. Fox News reporter David Spunt says that he was taken into custody the moment he entered the doors.
So as of this moment, he's out of prison awaiting trial in Tennessee for federal human smuggling charges. About 150 supporters came out to Baltimore early this morning for a 6:30 a.m. rally featuring Abrego Garcia. The crowd now thinning out. It's been largely peaceful, people singing, playing on guitars. DHS officials, though, have indicated they may deport him, but not back to his home country of El Salvador, possibly to Uganda.
Now, Border Czar Tom Homan saying last night that Abrego Garcia will absolutely be deported from the U.S. Police in Madison have taken a woman into custody for questioning after another woman drove herself to Madison Police Precinct. She had been shot. Here's News 2's Megan Fee.
Metro Police tell us a woman flagged down an officer near the Madison Police Precinct on Myatt Drive. She said she had been shot just around the corner on Scalf Drive. The woman said this was a result of a domestic dispute.
Now, that woman had non-life-threatening injuries. Today marks the 12th day without a homicide in Washington, D.C., where U.S. Attorney for D.C. gives an update for last night.
And last night, we had another 10 guns removed from the street, another 86 arrests. We're up to 1,007 arrests, along with, I believe, 111 guns that have been removed from the street. What does that mean? They can't be used to shoot people, to kill people.
And that's Judge Janine, of course, speaking on Fox News this morning. The Trump administration has mentioned Memphis among the cities that are in its sights for a similar crime-stopping program. Happening today at the White House and happening right now, as a matter of fact, President Trump is signing an executive order that cracks down on the desecration of the American flag, mandating that anyone who burns the flag will face prosecution. Also, he'll revoke cashless bail for suspects arrested in Washington, D.C. And the latest class of weight loss drugs are getting attention for another use.
Not just for losing weight and battling diabetes, but fighting cancer. Shown over 10 years of research on 80,000 patients.
Yes, this is a medical revolution, but that doesn't mean these drugs are without serious side effects.
Board-certified neurologist Dr. Leah Kroll says the upside.
The risk for endometrial cancer went down by 25%. For ovarian cancer, 47%. And the risk for meningioma, which is a benign brain tumor, went down by 31%.
Researchers make clear the study does not distinguish if the reduced risk is due to the drug or the actual weight loss. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
And that is the latest news. We've got weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
I love this. Morgan Wallen has now decided to not submit his album, I'm the Problem, for consideration at the Grammys, which I think is a really, really smart move. You know why? Because last year, Beyonce won Album of the Year at the Grammys, which was absolute bullshit. Well played, Morgan. Well played.
Well, hello. It's 10:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? Chris Hands here. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Bit of a hiccup this morning. No big deal. No big deal. I don't know how we could have predicted that.
No, absolutely not.
The guys here, they gave me a bunch of great tech. And it's worked in so many other places.
Yeah, you could just never expect a dinosaur to attack your home at any moment. It's just weird.
But but I've done it. And our engineers are great. And
Dude, we have the best.
So 100%. So I've done this the exact same way in Tampa, Florida, West Palm Beach, Phoenix, Arizona, Dallas, Texas, Detroit, Michigan. But Murfreesboro, Tennessee, it was like, no, you can't do that.
Well, it is Murfreesboro.
So we were like, okay, how do we pivot? How do we pivot, right? So it's like, well, we got to hardwire it in, but I didn't have a wire long enough.
Oh, yeah.
So then they were like, well, can you do it in where your internet is? I'm like, well, that's not my studio. And then there'll be a 3-year-old joining me as a guest host on the broadcast.
It's not the worst thing.
Sparingly. Could be worse. Could be worse. But so I ordered an extra long cable for Wednesday for when they replace the TV.
How long are we talking extra long?
So I don't know. Like I was like trying to figure out, this is what I did. And you shouldn't text and drive. But this is what I did on my ride in. Like, how long is a residential staircase? How many feet is a residential staircase? So I'm like trying to like map it out in my head, and I landed on, I think 300 feet is going to be more than enough.
Whoa!
I think that will be. I was like, at 100 feet though, I was like, that might not. Who knows? I don't know.
Might be cutting it close, kind of thing.
I was like 300 feet. I'm gonna be good to go. So we'll attempt the new studio again on Wednesday, which it'll work. It'll work fine.
Yeah, we'll be good.
But I thought the hotspot would be fine.
Yeah.
I think the rest of us will be on standby.
Yeah, you better be, Joan. You better be. But in the meantime, hashtag worth it. I got to send my kids off to school, first day of school.
Dude, I saw the pictures on Instagram. So cool.
Oh, man. The kids, they look pretty cute, don't they?
Yeah, dude. Love the new backpacks.
At Chris Hand on Air if you want to see the kids' first day of school pictures. But I got to wake up and make them scrambled eggs and corned beef hash. And if all it cost me was a little bit of a headache and a panicked ride in, worth it.
Dude, best send off.
Worth it. So
Very cool.
So here we are, and it's there's a lot to get to today. Did Donald Trump sign those executive orders yet? Because I was
He's been holding them up. I think that he has already done so.
Okay.
But he's really going on and on and on.
Perfect. So Donald Trump inside the Oval Office moments ago, and he has signed executive orders. Do you know what executive orders he signed? Because that was up in the air still.
There were two. One of them said, if you desecrate the American flag, you'll be prosecuted.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Tired of seeing that in the protests that have marked our streets.
100%. And that's totally peaceful, mind you. But if you happen to be a 15-year-old boy and you do a screech out burnout with a scooter on a Pride crosswalk, that's a hate crime.
Exactly.
Yeah, the double standard. And then there was another one that he signed?
There was another one, and this one's on cashless bail. He's revoking it in Washington, D.C. With this executive order. I'm not sure if he can do that nationwide or if this is just something that he's starting in Washington, D.C. and hoping that it will go out across the country.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. While he's in the Oval Office, he is taking questions from reporters, and he said that he's going to be ripping up the broken medians in Washington, D.C., redoing the asphalt, and he's really been laying in heavy on this rebeautification of Washington, D.C.
Clark Construction, which is by far your biggest construction company, and we're going to also beautify Washington. We're going to rip down the broken medians, fix them. We're going to put asphalt on the roads. We're not ripping them apart like these stupid people do. They rip a road down to the dirt, and then they spend 5 years in building the new one, and then it starts settling. The whole thing is so crazy. And they'll spend hundreds of millions of dollars on a road. I'll spend about $2, and it'll look better. So we're going to be replacing medians. We're going to be replacing much of the asphalt in the road, which in the city, which is in bad shape. We have great stripers. We have great contractors, but we have to let them do the thing. The Congress had said that they'll give us whatever money is needed to fix up the Capitol. This is the Capitol. And we're not going to spend a lot. It's going to go fast, and it will be spotless. And we want it spotless for the World Cup and for the Olympics. You saw the World Cup was here the other day. And come to think of it, there's your Trump.
So Donald Trump he's going to rebeautify the city. This doesn't, it might seem small, but this isn't small at all. This is very big. We've seen our inner cities fall apart, get gross. And it seems like everybody in leadership has turned a blind eye to this. And it's not just D.C. You can go through so many major cities. I lived in Detroit. I see what happens under Democrat rule after decades. It's not going to get better on its own. President Trump says, well, we're going to fix it. D.C. is the welcome mat for the country. If it doesn't look good, is anybody going to respect anywhere else in our country? He's been absolutely right with this. And he says, but they'll scream and they'll cry. He's cleaning up crime. He's cleaning up the city. He's a dictator. That's what we always hear. He's a dictator. Mind you, no murders in D.C. What are we at, 12 days? 12 days, no murders in D.C. Well, sign me up for a dictator that keeps his people safe. Because the president that we had before Trump, he was letting in millions upon millions of unvetted illegal aliens into this country. Murderers, drug dealers, rapists, you name it. What's wrong with the dictator then? I mean, with friends like these, who needs enemies? You know what I'm saying? But Trump says, I'm not a dictator. And that's just not the reality. This is him moments ago in the Oval Office.
We don't need him. Freedom. He's a dictator. He's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense, and I'm a smart person. And when I see what's happening to our cities, and then you send in troops, instead of being praised, they're saying you're trying to take over the republic. These people are sick. But I'm really saying, and I say this to all of you, in a certain way, we should wait to be asked, because they have cities that are so under control, out of control. So we go in and fix it. They take the full credit for it, and they go out and say, "I heard it this morning."
This is Trump at his best. He's forcing the Democrats into an unwinnable position. Another 80-20 issue, 97-3, if we're being perfectly honest. When you're seeing D.C. become safe again, you're seeing the viral videos come out where women are saying, wow, it's so nice to be able to sit at a red light and not worry about being carjacked. You understand why the Democrats are so adamantly against this. Well, they're not going to have a problem to campaign on if Donald Trump comes in and fixes the crime issue. Trump has said over the weekend that he's going to mobilize the National Guard, this was Friday, across 19 states to aid law enforcement and ICE. The Trump administration will be mobilizing those National Guard troops in 19 states across the country as part of a wider crackdown on crime as well as illegal immigration. Plans for action are set to take place in Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Wyoming. The troops will be active in the states from August through mid-November, according to documents obtained by Fox News. Now, you'll notice in that list is missing is Illinois. Illinois is missing from that list, but he does say that he wants to send troops to Chicago first, saying that Chicago will be the next stop and then we'll help with New York. Those are Donald Trump's words, and it's caused a lot of uproar from the locals in Chicago. J.B. Pritzker says Trump is manufacturing a crisis in Chicago, and I'm sorry, sir, but for a city affectionately codenamed Chirac, there is no way that Donald Trump is manufacturing this crisis. There's none. The crisis has been there for years upon years upon years. And he says that Trump is doing this to distract from his tariffs. Oh, the tariffs that are bringing in billions upon billions a year. Mayor Johnson in Chicago reacting to this news, saying that the people of Chicago will rise up against Donald Trump's tyranny. Wait, what? What? Making the streets of Chicago safer is tyrannical. Well, that's according to Mayor Brandon Johnson, and yes, he said exactly that. We will rise up against this tyranny.
And so, look, we're going to remain firm. We'll take legal action. But the people in this city are accustomed to rising up against tyranny. And if that's necessary, I believe that the people of Chicago will stand firm alongside of me as I work every single day to protect the people of this city.
Oh, yeah, nice. You know what? It's funny, when I see the town halls that come out of Chicago, I do see a lot of citizens that want to rise up against tyranny. I see a lot of citizens in Chicago that are tired of the illegal aliens pouring into their city. And we've done this for a while now. Back when Biden was president, there were town halls going on where you had Chicago gang members saying, if the authorities don't want to handle this, we'll handle this. Talking about the rampant crime from illegal aliens. The citizens in Chicago have wanted to rise up against this tyranny for a while, except the tyranny that they want to rise up against is leadership like Mayor Brandon Johnson. Now, Trump hasn't had anything nice to say about Mayor Brandon Johnson, hasn't had anything good to say about Chicago, and he did lay those comments on heavy. This was on Friday, where President Trump said Chicago is an incompetent mess. This was President Trump on Friday.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this, and it won't even be tough.
I mean, no, especially when you see how quickly they fix things in D.C. Now, on MSNBC over the weekend, they played those comments for Mayor Brandon Johnson. Mayor Brandon Johnson didn't know how to respond because he understands exactly what time it is. If Donald Trump sends in the National Guard to Chicago, we're going to see the exact same thing that we saw in D.C. Safety, law and order, once again return to a formerly great city. And that's the reality for Democrats right now. They're in a no-win situation. So they play this comment for Mayor Brandon Johnson on CNN, and he gets stuck like a deer in the headlights. He doesn't know what to say or how to react. I'll play you the comment from Donald Trump one more time, and then listen to the delayed reaction from Mayor Brandon Johnson. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, look at his face. He's stunned. He's shook. And he's nervous.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this, and it won't even be tough.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Your reaction to what you just heard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit of a delay. That's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, I don't think it was an audio issue either.
No. He's just like, crap. I mean, listen to how long. It's like 10 seconds before he gets to his statement.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Your reaction to what you just heard.
Yeah.
Oh, you wanted my reaction.
I counted 8 seconds until he goes,
8 seconds. Okay, I thought it was about 10. 8 seconds
that's
officially.
still a long time.
The official timer, let it be seen. It's 8 seconds. There's no audio delay that's going to be 8 seconds. You'll get the audio delay on these interviews where and you'll see people and sometimes you'll hear it over their mic. They're listening to the question. There's no way that there was 8 seconds of delay there.
No way. No way.
All right, so how do you respond once you get to responding, Mayor Brandon Johnson?
Yeah, well, listen, the President of the United States of America has repeated this, petulant presentation since he has assumed office. And, if the reporting is actually true, what he is proposing at this point would be the most flagrant violation of our Constitution in the 21st century.
Oh.
The city of Chicago does not need a military occupation. That's not what we need.
I mean, again, please explain to me how your city gets the nickname of Chirac. Explain to me how you have young kids running around looting stores. Explain to me how you have young kids running around with illegal firearms in one of the cities with the most strict gun laws in the entire country, and you still have all of this crime. You're going to tell us that you don't need the National Guard? You should be begging and pleading with the president to send in help. If you cared about your citizens, that's what they'd be doing. But they don't. They don't. They don't want to lose this problem because then they're going to have nothing to tell their voters that they can solve. It's 1021. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Sometimes I feel like this is a silly question, but are you tired of back pain, neck pain, or knee pain ruining your life? It's like, of course you are. Of course you are. It's Chris Hand here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and I got something that could change everything for you. It's called the Big Daddy Trump Special, and the Wellness Institute of Nashville is bringing you this deal that is only $12. It'll get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, and a well-explained diagnosis, plus your first treatment. That's right. All of that for only $12. And you're going to be working with the best, Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley. They're not going to give up on solving your pain. And their patients say it all the time while they're singing their praises. Should have come here first. Well, why doesn't anybody explain it like these guys? You're going to feel the exact same way. Back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs. They'll treat it all with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and anti-gravity machines. Where you're not going to find surgery, injections, painkillers. But you're going to find solutions. Give them a call today, 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009, or find them online, painisbad.com.
J.D. Vance descended upon Union Station in Washington, D.C. today, and he was met with some unhinged leftist protesters.
You big f***ing Nazis!
Now, there's a couple ways that you can deal with radical leftist lunatics, but I want to highlight the method that J.D. chose today. This method is, of course, the all-encompassing point and laugh.
This is the guy who thinks people don't deserve law and order in their own community.
Like and subscribe for more tips on how to deal with unhinged leftist lunatics out in the wild. This has been brought to you by our friends at Zero Res Nashville. If you need your carpets cleaned, go to ZeroResNashville.com.
Up ahead here, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, no longer a free man. Looks like he may actually be deported today. Also, we'll tell you about a petition that 2.5 million people have signed in order to help the trucker, the migrant from India, who's charged with killing 3 people with his truck.
Oh, that story's infuriating.
It sure is, and it's going to make your blood boil, I can tell you that right now.
I can feel the heat radiating off of Joan Jones in the newsroom. And
it's incredible.
There's 2 walls between us.
Thank goodness.
Somebody check on Joan.
You guys don't want to feel how it feels in here. It's burning up.
As I start talking, I need you to go back there and just fan Joan down a little bit before the newscast, Mason. It's 1027, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, and you can watch it on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like and subscribe. I got a lot of growing kids. They're going to school, and we got to feed them good stuff. My wife was like, the bread and the water, like we got to elevate that now that we're in the school year.
Yeah, I'm surprised you were able to afford an egg and a half this morning.
I mean, it was tough.
But we got those likes up. We hit 100 4 times last week.
Let's go. We can do it again.
Huge?
We can do it again. And this morning I had the benefit of an extra hour of Dan Mandis, so that should really help grease the likes. I am glad. Secretly, I'm glad that I'm in the studio because one of the first things that I do is Murphy always leaves himself logged into Chrome, and Dan for some reason uses Microsoft Edge as a browser, which is I know. But I got to sneak in and give myself a like on Murphy's account again. It's like, I got to start my day off with a like from Matt Murphy.
Anecdotally speaking, we are the #1 show that Matt Murphy likes.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's all the evidence we need. President Trump signing an executive order that is outlawing cashless bail in Washington, D.C. and is revoking federal funding from cities with cashless bail. These are the executive orders he signed this morning. This is President Trump signing that executive order in the Oval Office.
Jurisdictions all over the country that have cashless bail policies, and then it withholds or revokes federal funds and grants that are flowing to those jurisdictions to ensure that we're only supporting the people who have reasonable common sense policies around crime.
So what area does it cover?
Potentially anywhere that has a cashless bail policy.
Let's
so
go.
some of the largest cities, some of the most left-wing states in America
Almost
have
all of
adopted.
them, right?
Illinois would be a great example of that, sir.
Oh, they have a great cashless bail. You don't even have to go to court sometimes.
Mayor Johnson, your comment? Exactly.
No, Illinois, I love that state. It's a great state, but it's run so badly by Pritzker. They threw him out of the family business, and he becomes governor. Now he wants to run for president. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, we'll sign right here, right?
Sir.
I love the jabs to Pritzker. It's just
so
the best.
Important. And this isn't Republican, Democrat. This is, and by the way, most Democrats agree with this. But this is just, we got to bring our country back.
He's absolutely right. And most Democrats do agree with it. Democrat voters, especially. Believe it or not, they might hate the orange man, but you know what they hate worse? Getting carjacked or murdered. You know, it's weird. It's weird. That actually ranks higher on the list of things they dislike, right above President Trump. Getting carjacked at a red light. It's not... I think they'd rather have President Trump. Actually, I say that, but there was a viral video, a viral photo going around over the weekend of a woman from Illinois who said she got carjacked and her arm broken, but she would rather have that than the National Guard be deployed in Chicago. TDS is a mental illness, kids. It's 10:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories for drivers on 24, the westbound side this morning. Got to watch it just before Church Street. That's exit 81. They're doing some road work, and they only have one lane available to traffic. This is from Joby Jackson Parkway, exit 84. Through exit 81, traffic is jammed up this morning. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was taken right into custody upon showing up for his scheduled check-in at ICE in Baltimore over the weekend. His lawyer was telling supporters outside the building about it.
Mr. Abrego Garcia was taken into custody by ICE this morning.
Now, that lawyer is Simon Sandoval Moschenberg. He filed a lawsuit to challenge that deportation.
We do not have the right to put him on an airplane, and that's what we're going to be asking the district court to ensure, that he is not put on any flight to any country whatsoever, whether it's Uganda, South Sudan, what have you, unless and until he has had a full and fair trial in an immigration court as well as his full appeal rights.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, however, said this morning in a social media post that ICE was processing him for deportation. An early morning fire at a home in Spring Hill, and police say a father has been critically injured. Firefighters were called to the scene at a home on Charles Lane around 4 o'clock this morning. They said the man inside that home was able to get multiple children to safety, but he himself was taken to an area hospital with critical injuries. More than 2.5 million people have signed a petition. It calls for leniency for the Indian illegal migrant trucker accused of killing 3 people when he pulled an illegal U-turn in Florida. This petition calls for the crash. It calls the crash a tragic accident, not a deliberate act. Former DHS Secretary Chad Wolf reacting this morning on Fox News.
Where's the sympathy for the victims here? We see this time and time again from the left. They will run to the side of the illegal alien committing an act or a crime of some kind, but they give little deference. They give little attention to the victims of those crimes as well.
The petition calls for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to commute Singh's sentence if he does get convicted. That is the latest news. We've got your weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It's back to school season. You don't have to tell me. I sent my kindergartner off. First time. Oh, I was like just holding back the tears. But Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is bringing the buzz with some big savings and sweet giveaways just in time for the new school year. If you got septic issues, don't wait. You can get 15% off any septic work, main drain lines, or whole home repipes just in time for the new school year. If you upgrade your HVAC system, you could win the Healthy Hive giveaway. That's $1,500 sponsorship to the local school of your choice. That's really going to be amazing for a teacher in your life. And here's a gift sweeter than a red apple. If you join the Beehive Club today, you can gift a free membership to a local teacher, coach, or faculty member. Buy one, gift one. It's that simple. All you got to do is call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling want to make this school year the healthiest one yet. Give them a call today. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com. It's 10:36, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name's Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. Why on earth would you need those?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
It's a reason. BetterWater.com.
It's a pretty good reason.
It's definitely a reason. BetterWater.com.
You know
All
what?
right. What?
Sorry, I just gotta say,
what do you got? What do you got?
That's definitely funny again.
Yeah, it's funny again.
I looked at it and was like, ooh, I hope he says it. I hope we get to hit it again.
It's weird. It gets not funny for a day or two, and then you just wait. You stay patient.
Just an easy weekend,
and it's funny again. It's just I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules.
Just play by.
The guy that is making the rules, he's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, signing some executive orders this morning. The first one that he signed was revoking cashless bail in Washington, D.C., and saying if you are operating with cashless bail, you know, I can't revoke it like I can in D.C., but I can pull your federal funding.
Jurisdictions all over the country that have cashless bail policies, and then it withholds or revokes federal funds and grants that are flowing to those jurisdictions to ensure that we're only supporting the people who have reasonable common sense policies around crime.
So what area does it cover?
Potentially anywhere that has a cashless bail policy. So some of the largest cities, some of the most left-wing states in America.
Almost all of them, right?
Illinois would be a great example of that, sir.
Oh, they have a great cashless bail. You don't even have to go to court sometimes. No, Illinois, I love that state. It's a great state, but it's run so badly by Pritzker. They threw him out of the family business, and he becomes governor. Now he wants to run for president. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know. Never underestimate a Democrat's ability to fail upwards. But I do think it's an uphill battle for Pritzker. And if you've seen him lately, walking uphill probably isn't his strength.
Probably not.
Just saying. He signed another executive order, and I'd love to get your instant reaction on this one. This executive order will jail people who burn the American flag, and this is going to be challenged 110%. But I love it. I do. It infuriates me that if me and Mason were to go out in the streets and protest, Pride Month, and we were to burn a pride flag, we could get charged with a hate crime. That infuriates me. Yet you can have Antifa members burning American flags, no problem. No problem at all. Now, full disclosure, I don't see an issue. I see an issue. I don't necessarily think it should be jail time. I think the thing that bugs me the most about this is the double standard, and I think that's what infuriates me. It's not necessarily the burning of the American flag. While I think it's disgraceful, and I think it's an awful thing to do, I don't think you should go to jail for it. But President Trump's new executive order, let's listen to him as he signs it.
This is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your attorney general.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason, which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You can do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy. In a way, both ways. There are some that are going crazy for doing it. There are others that are angry about them doing it. Do you want to discuss that?
Sure.
I mean, President Trump saying it's not really about the action of the burning of the American flag. It's the response to the burning of the American flag. It's an interesting angle to take. Again, this is going to be completely fought in court. Get ready for that. But let's let this continue. Let's see how it plays out in the Oval Office.
What the executive order does, sir, it charges your Department of Justice with investigating instances of flag burning. And then where there's evidence of criminal activity, where prosecution wouldn't fall afoul of the First Amendment, and instructs the Department of Justice to prosecute those who are engaged in these instances of flag burning.
And what the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, You get, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they use that language, by the way. Did they?
Incitement is
incite to riot. And you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record. And you will see flag burning stopping immediately, just like when I signed the Statute and Monument Act. 10 years in jail if you heard any of us.
I don't know if it'll stop immediately, but I bet you'll stop pretty quickly. I bet you would stop pretty fast if you see those charges levied. It's interesting. It's interesting. I wonder what the angle that he's taking, incitement to violence, if that gets around the free speech clause. You know, like yelling fire in a movie theater, right? Like, you have a right to free speech. You can't yell fire in a movie theater because people will get trampled. You have a right to free speech, but you can't burn an American flag in a protest because afterwards you're essentially inciting a riot. This is gonna be an interesting one to see play out. 615-737-9986. Do you like that executive order? Are you with it? Are you against it? President Trump signing an executive order to jail people who burn the American flag. 1 year in jail. This is breaking this morning, and it's that's a doozy. That's a doozy, and it's going to send the left into an absolute hissy fit. Make no mistake about it. Instant reaction from you guys on the text line and the phone lines. You're welcome to join the show, 615-737-9986. President Trump also in the Oval Office announcing that he is launching an investigation into the Metro D.C., the D.C. Metropolitan Police, run by a DEI police chief, to end any and all policies that have impeded law enforcement across the entire city. This is President Trump talking about that investigation that they've launched moments ago inside the White House.
It also asks the Attorney General to look at D.C. Metropolitan Police general orders that have currently impeded law enforcement efforts in the city, and to potentially look at unwinding those that are stopping the police from doing their job effectively.
And are we going to ask this to be codified by Congress, all of these things?
I think we could potentially, yes, sir.
I think so. I think we should. I think we'll get it. I think Democrats will vote. Well, it's hard.
I don't know. He said, will we get this codified by Congress? Have we gotten anything really codified by Congress yet? I mean, for the amount of things that Donald Trump has done in the first 7 months of his administration, he's done it without the Republican Congress. So I wouldn't hold my breath on this Republican Congress codifying things into law. It seems like Donald Trump is having to rule by executive order, which kind of stinks. I mean, any executive order can be done by an executive order. We got to get Congress to step up and act. But the big executive order coming out is you're going to be jailed for a year if you're burning an American flag. Your instant reaction to that. Let's go to Brian in Madison. What's up, Brian? What do you think?
What's up, bro? Well, what I think is what you've talked about a little bit. You touched on it. I was calling before you started commenting, I think, and it does bring up First Amendment issues. But these are different times we live in, just like a lot of things, a lot of the laws now. It's like calling them the National Guard. You know, people don't do that in a panic unless there's a panic. It's like Ding Dong in Chicago says we don't need, you know what, the people in Chicago need is a competent mayor. Yeah. And then I heard earlier where Kilmar Abrego's lawyer right out the gate this morning says they're going to send him somewhere where he doesn't even speak the language. Well, hell, he don't speak the language here.
Fact
anyway,
check that, yeah.
So,
no, I hear you, man.
I'm for putting them in jail. I can't stand it when I see people, because they're cowards when they burn our flag. Come over here and fight like a man, is what I say. You know, put a uniform on like our guys do who are sitting ducks in Washington, D.C. right now, and do something. You know, quit talking about it. They're sissies.
Yeah, I mean, it infuriates me too, Brian. But there is that First Amendment part of it. This is going to be challenged. But I love the angle he's taking. You're inciting a riot. You're inciting violence when you do that. And I think that you could pull some footage from the Summer of Love and make your argument very, very quickly. But we'll see how this plays out. Let's go to Ricky in Watertown on the executive order on burning the American flag, landing you 1 year in jail. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, what's going on?
What do you think, man?
Hey, I'm all behind it. Men and women have died for this country. That flag is part of our country. I wish you'd give them a year in jail at alligator trash.
I love the I love the energy, Ricky. Thanks, man. Let's go to Mike in Nashville. What's up, Mike?
Yeah, how you doing, Chris? Hey, listen, man, before I get to the flag, I wanted to talk about this situation with Trump putting the National Guards on the streets. A lot of people, nobody's talking about, taking over the whole damn city. Washington, D.C. is a different deal from Chicago because it's not a state, as you already clearly said, other people have said. Donald Trump has the right to do that because, like you said, it's not a state.
It's federal jurisdiction,
district or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yep.
But, okay, nobody's saying go to Chicago and take over the whole city with National Guard and military. No, they're saying send these people to the area where the crime is out of control, where women and kids, gangs are on the street, drug dealers, prostitutes, and you name it. These are the areas that they need to stop. Okay, because you clearly see from what Donald Trump said this morning, if it's true, that they have had no murders in Washington, D.C., and Washington, D.C. used to be known as the murder capital of the U.S.
Yep.
And now, in the last 2 weeks, they haven't had no murders, and that's because Donald Trump has put the people there to keep the troublemakers off the street.
I don't know how you could argue that the National Guard wouldn't make a difference in Chicago. So just for a thought exercise, I Googled Chicago toddler shot. Okay, and hang with me, Mike, because I'm gonna put this on the screen for the YouTube stream. But the entire section, 5-year-old boy dies after a shooting inside of Kenwood after a gunshot wound to the head in Kenwood on Sunday afternoon. Late December 2024, teen releases prosecutors weigh shooting. 2-year-old boy shot, critically wounded on Chicago's west side. Toddler shoots himself with unsecured gun. 2-year-old boy shot. Arraignment delayed for 17-year-old suspect shooting. 3-year-old boy shot near the west side. Chicago, it just over and over and over again. You see the victims of these crimes. And then the young boys that are running around there committing these crimes, they're 14, 15, 16 themselves. It's insane. Why would you not, if you're a mother or a father inside one of these terrible neighborhoods in Chicago, why would you not want the National Guard on those streets?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Chris. No, like I say, nobody's talking about sending them to the suburbs, the areas that don't have crime. They're talking about sending them to the same neighborhoods that you just mentioned with all the child murders and all these other stuff that you hear about on a weekly and daily basis. The same thing. There's places in Tennessee, Memphis and Nashville got crime problems.
Yep.
And there's other cities that's on the list and that needs to be taken care of to get the people on the street because the police are outnumbered. They can't take care of the whole situation. They need a little bit of help, and I believe there's nothing wrong with sending in the National Guard. Now, as far as the flag goes, as far as I'm concerned, because I have friends and family in the military, it's an insult, and I agree with Donald Trump. You shouldn't be allowed. There's nothing about you don't have the right to birth. If you hate the United States that bad, find somewhere else to live. It's just that simple. If you feel like you hate the U.S., the country that's probably the best country in the world to live in, where you had the freedom to do and talk and say whatever you want to do. Try to do all I'm going to say to those type of people, Chris, before I hang up with you, go to North Korea and try to burn a flag and see what happens to you. Go to China and try to burn up one of their flags in China and see what they do to you in their government. And I guarantee you appreciate living in America after you see what they do to you. And I thank you for taking my call.
Amen. Hey, I appreciate the call. As always, Mike, 615-737-9986. If you want to join the show, react to any of these executive orders that have been signed by President Trump. J.D. Vance reacting to the lack of murders in D.C., and it kind of goes on to what we were talking about, sending the National Guard in to other cities, with Chicago especially. Why wouldn't you want 1 week murder-free in some of these Chicago neighborhoods? Think about what they've been able to do in D.C. in record amount of time. J.D. Vance was basically just demanding inside the Oval Office that the Democrat Party say thank you to the president, and I think he's right.
We've been doing this for 2 weeks. 0 people killed. That's real lives saved that the media and, frankly, the entire Democratic Party should be saying thank you for saving lives instead of attacking the President of the United States for doing so.
Yeah, and they say Black Lives Matter. But I guess when you're saving Black lives and you happen to be the orange man, then they say, please stop. Please stop. This is tyrannical. You're a dictator.
When a person, unfortunately, will probably happen at some point when a person's murdered in D.C., it's going to be the biggest story maybe in history. Right?
Yes, sir.
Somebody was murdered in D.C. Trump is failing. No, we're not failing. We have a safe city. This is maybe the safest city in America right now. That's.
And I'm sure there are a lot of citizens in a lot of other blue cities that are saying, please, sir, come here next. It's 10:51. More of your calls on the way. Jim, Aaron, hang on the line, guys. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Bobcat. I want to tell you about Bobcat Dirt Days. It's happening Friday, September 12th from 10 to 3 at the 7 Bobcat locations across Middle Tennessee, as well as Bowling Green, Kentucky. Brought to you by your regional Bobcat compact equipment dealers. It's a way of saying thank you to construction and land moving pros who keep our community growing. And they're going to have attendance prizes all day long. 10% off all in-stock genuine Bobcat parts and 25% off first-time machine rentals booked by September 30th. Don't miss your chance to win one of 2 Bobcat commercial mowers they're giving away just by stopping by on Friday the 12th to enter. In addition, there's going to be operator skills competitions, plenty of prize drawings throughout the day. Plus, they'll have plenty of snacks and drinks for the pros, so stop by on your break or over your lunch hour. Now, I'm going to be broadcasting my show live from 9 to noon at the Bobcat of Nashville location in Laverne. We want to see you there. I'll be broadcasting live, so stop by and say hello, or you can stop by any Bobcat location to win prizes and learn more about Bobcat equipment. One tough animal at bobcatgdn.com.
How good it is.
We've been doing this for
So Trump announced today he's federalizing D.C. police to put an end to violent crime in Washington, D.C. Naturally, leftists are losing their mind and completely unhinged.
We believe there is a better way to protect us all. one that respects rights to build trust and keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism-free.
Free of what?
That is fascism-free.
Fascism-free? Fascism-free. Oh, okay, hang on one second. Hey, Brooks, come here. F-A-S-C.
All right, drivers, unfortunately, only one lane open, 24 westbound before Church Street in Murfreesboro. They're doing some road work down there. Stop-and-go traffic starts there at Joe B. Jackson Parkway, exit 84. And the first human case of flesh-eating screwworm in the U.S., I'll tell you about it at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. Where was it?
Just going to have to wait to hear, Brother Chris.
Ken Weaver, the master of the tease. It's 10:57, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water, LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Donald Trump signed an executive order this morning. You burn an American flag, you go to jail for a year. Now, there's going to be some First Amendment issues with it, but he angled it to kind of get around those, it seems. He says, look at what happens after they burn the American flag. You're inciting a riot. People say it's free speech. Well, yeah, but you can't yell fire in a movie theater because people get trampled. So the angle that he's taking is a safety angle. I could go either way. Like, I don't know. I don't get it in tizzy. I don't like the burning of the American flag, but I understand why it is protected speech, if that makes sense. Like, I would never do it. I would never stand idly by watching somebody do it. But I understand why it's protected. What do you think about it? 615-737-9986. Let's go to Aaron in Nashville. What's up, Aaron?
Hey, Chris, I'm going to ask for some clarification. Obviously, you delve into this a lot more than I'm not a political scholar or a constitutionalist. But Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances.
Yep.
What part of that enunciates the freedom of speech being an act of burning the flag?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And that goes to any act. I don't get to flip off a police officer, peace officer, law enforcement officer. I don't get to just give him the middle finger to his face and not expect consequences. I think we've broadened this speech thing to where a couple of years ago the left was saying, silence is violence. Like, no, it's not. If it's not an act, I mean, you can't have it be an act and a speech at the same time. One or the other. Those two words are not interchangeable, and I really, really have an issue defining actions as speech because the First Amendment clearly delineates that your peaceable assembly and your practice of religion. Now, if you're calling the burning of the flag a religious act, then okay, it's protected.
Hey, you can make that argument for leftists. You could definitely make that argument for leftists.
Okay, so
No,
I won't disagree there, but
I get the angle that you're taking, man, and I think you're spot on, and I appreciate the call, Aaron, as always. Jim in Cookville, Barry also on the line. Hang on, guys. We'll get to more of your calls on the way. There's a lot to cover. We also have the South Korean president joining President Trump in the White House today, so we should be getting some audio out of that meeting here momentarily as well, and we'll bring you all the latest right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, plus more of your phone calls on the way.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories on this Monday morning. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. The first U.S. human case of New World screwworm connected to international travel has been confirmed by the Department of Health and Human Services. In early August, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention confirmed that a Maryland patient who had recently returned from El Salvador was infected with the flesh-eating parasite. Health and Human Services stated the risk to the U.S. public was very low from this isolated case. By the way, screwworm flies lay eggs in open wounds or moist orifices of warm-blooded animals and rarely humans. And it's the maggots then that burrow into the living flesh and start feeding. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was taken right into custody upon showing up for his scheduled check-in at ICE in Baltimore this weekend. His lawyer telling his supporters outside the building.
Mr. Abrego Garcia was taken into custody by ICE this morning.
And lawyer Simon Sandoval Moschenberg filed a lawsuit to challenge his deportation.
Do not have the right to put him on an airplane, and that's what we're going to be asking the district court to ensure, that he is not put on any flight to any country whatsoever, whether it's Uganda, South Sudan, what have you, unless and until he has had a full and fair trial in an immigration court, as well as his full appeal rights.
Now, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said this morning in a social media post ICE was processing him for deportation. Closer to home, a woman who had been shot in Madison reportedly drove herself to a police station on Myatt Drive for help. Police say it appears she was shot on nearby Scalf Drive about 5:45 this morning. Not clear the extent of her injuries. Investigators working to determine if this is the result of a domestic incident, that is. Military fighter jets scrambled yesterday to intercept a Russian spy plane flying near Alaska. The North American Aerospace Defense Command said this was the third time in less than a week. And more than 2.5 million people have signed a petition calling for leniency for the Indian illegal migrant trucker accused of killing 3 people when he pulled an illegal U-turn in Florida. This petition calls the crash a tragic accident, not a deliberate act. Former Department of Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf reacting on Fox News.
Where's the sympathy for the victims here? We see this time and time again from the left. They will run to the side of the illegal alien committing an act or a crime of some kind, but they give little deference. They give little attention to the victims of those crimes as well.
Petition calls for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to commute the driver's sentence if he gets convicted. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We are waiting for the South Korean president and Donald Trump to join at the Oval Office. And as the audio starts coming out of that meeting, we'll have it for you here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The president kicked off the morning signing some executive orders, which we'll get to here momentarily. He's also going to be pressuring the South Korean president to do a couple of things. One, spend significantly more for the nearly 30,000 U.S. troops stationed in South Korea currently. This is what America First looked like. Right now, South Korea's spending is about 3.5% of their GDP. Their GDP last year was about $1.87 trillion. So 3.5% of 1.87 trillion, that's like $65 billion. They want to get them up to 5%, similar to what we saw with NATO allies, and that would bring that spending up to about $93 billion. There's a lot of talk about South Korea really benefiting off the U.S. economy, and that this is going to be a huge topic of conversation. If you want our protection, you got to ante up. We can't just do it for free. The other large topic of conversation is Donald Trump inside the Oval Office signing a massive executive order that states if you burn an American flag, you will go to prison for 1 year. This was Donald Trump earlier this morning, signing that executive order inside the Oval Office.
This is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your attorney general.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason, which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You can do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy. In a way, both ways. There are some that are going crazy for doing it. There are others that are angry about them doing it. Do you want to discuss that?
Sure.
So he's taking an interesting angle. I don't know if you're catching on, but he's flanked by J.D. Vance. He's got Attorney General Bondi in there, Stephen Miller. He's got Pete Hegseth all standing behind him. And he says, listen, it's not necessarily about the act of burning the flag. It's about what happens after. It's about the riot that you're inciting. It's about the anger that you're stirring up. It's about that. It's about what happens moments after. Can't yell fire in a movie theater. People get trampled. This is what I keep going back to. And this is the angle that he's taken. And I wonder what you guys think. 615-737-9986. This is obviously going to be challenged. There's obviously going to be a First Amendment argument here. But what do you think about it? Let's go to Jim in Cookville. Jim, you're up first on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Morning, Chris.
How we doing? What do you think?
Well, your caller, Aaron, before the break, he kind of stole a little bit of my thunder. He's exactly right. The free speech is to gather and speak and discuss and debate something was the intent. Physical action is not a free speech issue. I could no more take a can of spray paint and spray paint on the Washington Monument and call it free speech. I'm going to take a ride in a squad car if that happens.
Fair.
Or do something to desecrate the Mount Rushmore or any other American icons, and the flag is no different. Burning that is an act. It's not a speech, and the act should be punishable.
Hey, thanks for the call, Jim. I appreciate it. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Barry in Fayetteville. What's up, Barry?
Well, I'll tell you my background a little bit. I'm a Christian, libertarian, conservative. And that tells you where I come down on things. I'm also a veteran. Served my country for 24 years.
Well, thank you for your
service. I hold the Constitution. Well, thank you. I hold the Constitution in high regard. I understand the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, et cetera, et cetera. However, the American flag is an icon, a representative of our country. And I don't think it's any different burning the American flag and calling it free speech than it is going out and shooting a bald eagle and calling it free speech. Bald eagles are protected. I think our flag is worthy of protection. And I thank you for taking my call.
Hey, I appreciate the service, Barry, and I appreciate your opinion. Thank you. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. He signed an executive order saying that if you burn an American flag, you'll go to jail for a year. They explained it a little bit more in depth.
Sir, it charges your Department of Justice with investigating instances of flag burning and then where there's evidence of criminal activity, where prosecution wouldn't fall afoul of the First Amendment, and instructs the Department of Justice to prosecute those who are engaged in these instances of flag burning.
And what the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, you get, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they use that language, by the way. Did they?
Yeah, incitement is
incite to riot. And you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record. And you will see flag burning stopping immediately, just like when I signed the Statute and Monument Act. 10 years in jail if you heard any of us.
Yeah, he did sign that. I got a text from Matt Murphy. He said, boy, this flag burning thing is going to have a lot of our core listeners pissed off at Matt Murphy this afternoon. LOL. I said, Matt Murphy, don't wait. Call the hotline. I'll put you on right now.
You will.
Especially, well, I'm getting a lot of takes of everybody kind of agreeing with it, and I tend to agree too. And I'd love somebody who says, no, this is wrong, and to give me the reason why. I get the First Amendment aspect of it, but the angle that he's taking is what happens afterwards. What happens in the immediate aftermath of the flag burning? So I don't know if Murphy's going to call in. I've said his name now 4 times, so usually that does the trick. usually that goads him into doing it. But he said Matt's going to have a different take this afternoon, coming in at 3:00. We'll see what his take is. I'm not over the moon about this. I'm not like, yeah, rah rah, but I'm not against it either. Like, if idiots are going to do dumb things like burn our flag, it's the old mess around and find out chart. And if the angle that President Trump is taking is that it's about the riots that happen after, I think that he at least has an argument. He at least has an argument. You can't yell fire in a movie theater, so this is that. And I'm sure Matt Murphy will say that's not true. You can yell fire in a movie theater.
Well, you can.
You can. Murphy is. He said he's going into physical therapy in 5 minutes. You know what's going to pain him more than physical therapy is I'm going to be talking about Matt Murphy the entire time while he's in there. 615-737-9986 if you got a different take on the entire flag burning saga. President Trump signing that executive order this morning inside the Oval Office, but he's also signing an order that if you had cashless bail, first of all, the executive order you signed, the second one was it's revoked in D.C. There's no such thing as cashless bail in D.C. But along with that executive order, he said if you have cashless bail in your cities, well, we're going to pull federal funding. They're also launching an investigation into the D.C. police, which is run by a DEI police chief, to end any and all policies that have impeded law enforcement across the entire city. So there's a lot of moving parts inside the White House today. And again, we're awaiting this meeting between the president and the president of South Korea. Now, the president of South Korea, they're going to be talking about military spending, but they're going to be talking about a few other things. They actually brought up to the president during the executive order signing that South Korea has been raiding churches. And this is something that the president said, well, I have no problem talking to them about that because you can't just be raiding churches. And the president said in the Oval Office earlier today, while he's signing those executive orders, that he's going to have a conversation with them about raiding churches in South Korea.
Well, I heard that there were raids on churches over the last few days, very vicious raids on churches by the new government in South Korea. That they even went into our military base and got information that they probably shouldn't have done that. But I heard bad things. I don't know if it's true or not. I'll be finding out. As you know, your new president's coming in just a couple of hours coming here. I look forward to meeting him. But we won't stand for that. We just won't stand for that.
Yeah, not sure if it's true, but we will find out. 615-737-9986. Got a lot of people lining up to talk about the flag burning issue. I'm still getting texts from Matt Murphy, and I do think that he wants me to read them because he's going into physical therapy, and he wants, I can just feel it. Murphy, he wants to call. He said, by the same logic, a liberal can ban the display of a Confederate flag and permanently in the United States of America based on the incite to riot provision. You can yell fire in a movie theater as long as there's a fire. And he said, and I do so wish I could call. LOL. I can feel it. It's making his skin itch. Oh, poor Matt Murphy. You're going to have to wait for his take till 3 o'clock or maybe in the welcome mat with Chad Benson. But I can already feel it. I can feel it. I mentioned earlier I could feel the heat radiating off of Joan through 2 walls. I can feel it from Murphy, and we're miles away. 615-737-9996. Johnny, who is a veteran, right? Do I have that right, Johnny, in Jolton?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for your service, first and foremost. So as a veteran, what's your take on the executive order that President Trump has signed this morning?
You have an absolute right. I fought under that flag. I fought for that flag. Emotional, pardon me. You have the right to burn it. You have the right to be an idiot. I don't agree with it, but you have the right to do it.
Johnny, man, I respect the hell out of you, man. And I can feel that. I can hear it. This is definitely a bit emotional for you. Could you explain why that emotion runs so deep?
Just my service, my family's service, my personal experiences. America. I love my country.
But you don't feel that that's almost disrespecting the country that you fought for, the service that you gave?
Oh, it absolutely is, sir. Absolutely. And you won't do it in front of me because you'll get a bloody nose. But I won't stand for it. I won't have it. I fly it every day at my house. I raise it every morning.
But you still are on the line of you have the right to burn it.
But you have the right to be an idiot in this country. If you're an idiot that doesn't love this country, I wish you would leave. But you have the absolute right to be an idiot. That's like me saying I can't burn a gay flag parade in my front yard or whatever. I mean, the monuments and stuff, those are private property owned by the government, owned by the people. If I buy a flag from Walmart and says on fire in my front yard, it's my flag.
So
I have the right to do that as a freedom of expression.
I think
it is an act and not speech, but it is a free expression, similar to me hanging a swastika in my front yard. I have the right to do that. You wouldn't like it, and I would never do it, but I have the right to hang one.
That's fair, but what happens when that crosses the line and then it drives people into violence? And I'm sure that you could find instances, and I made this point earlier during the Summer of Love, if this is the angle that he's going to take, that it's not about the act of burning the flag, it's what happens after. I'm sure we can find countless hours of footage of this happening at BLM riots during the Summer of Love, where the flag is burned and moments later rocks are thrown. Is there an argument there to?
I would not disagree with you, but I listened to what you said about Matt Murphy tuning in and saying, well, where does that end? Where do they start prosecuting people for burning the gay flag, the Confederate flag, or the Tennessee flag, or the Texas flag, or the gay flag parade, or the black?
But you can already you're already getting a hate crime thrown on you for doing a burnout on a Pride Walk crosswalk.
And I don't agree with that either. That's freedom of expression. Also, although you are responsible for the damaging of the property, should it be private property? Like if you did that on that road, yeah, you might have to pay for the paint. It should not be prosecutable as a crime, as a hate crime, by the way. I don't agree with that. Absolutely not. But if you come and let's say I put a gay flag painted in the grass at my house. If you drive through my yard and do spin outs, yeah, you got to replace my grass. And maybe trespassing on private property. But on a piece of private property, I mean, there's a lot of differences. There are a lot of nuances there. But you have the right to destroy your own property should you buy a flag from Walmart or Amazon.
Well, hey, that's fair enough, man. And I appreciate the call, and I appreciate your take. And more than everything else, I appreciate your service, Johnny. Thanks so much, man. Let's go to Matthew on the road. What's up, Matt?
Hey, Chris.
What do you think, bud?
Well, fella, I mean, Johnny hit every nail on the head. So I'm a Marine veteran, and the issue is burning things in public. I almost said a naughty word. Burning things in public. I mean, that should have been the issue from the beginning. I mean, if you want to be an idiot and burn your own thing, that's fine. But I don't think taking the free speech and the ability for somebody to do with their own property as they will away is the right way to go about it.
Yep. I hear you. I appreciate the call. Let's go to Paul on the road. This got time for one more, and then we'll get to the rest of the calls on the other side. What's up, Paul?
How are you doing? Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. Your take.
I would simply ask the liberals who are so concerned about their safe space when Orange Man threatens them to consider the effect that flag burning has on an immigrant legally here, my wife from China, who loves this country, who's chosen to make her life here, leaving her family and her world behind. She cries when people burn the flag. She feels threatened because of the tyranny that she escaped. And for all of those who are so concerned about their feelings, they need to think about the feelings of those people who see the United States as the last best hope for freedom of the world, because they are physically and emotionally threatening them by this ridiculous juvenile acting out. Yes, they may have a right to burn the flag or do whatever they want to do, but they are mentally attacking those who see America as literally the lamp of liberty around the world.
Well, what would
So
you
I
say?
oppose flag burning.
What would you say? What would you say to somebody saying, well, that's the First Amendment? And if she wanted to come here to this country to be a citizen, you signed up for that Constitution. You signed up for those rights, and those are the rights that everyone else around you shares. We shouldn't have to change because you're feeling sad.
And she's not asking anyone to change, but by the same token, those who engage in those activities usually are doing so because they want America to change. They're not burning the flag because it's Tuesday. They're burning the flag because they object to the country's elected policies. They object to the way the democracy functions. And so they take it out in a way that is deliberately designed to provoke and to harm. They don't burn the flag because nobody pays attention. They burn the flag because people call into talk shows like yours. It's a hot button. It's a flashpoint. It's a symbol. It's something that we're proud of every day that we see it fly.
Fair enough. I appreciate the call, Paul. Thank you so much for your take. I got a lot of calls waiting on the line. We'll get to more of your phone calls on this executive order signed by President Trump on the way. It's 11:23. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Murphy's show is about to be so spicy today. Are you guys ready for that? You're going to want to take some antacid before you start listening. I'm just letting you know.
I'm going to have me a big old jug of ice water.
Yeah, get some Tums. Get some Tums for the heartburn and the indigestion that's on the way in the Matt Murphy program. Real quick, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res. And I got to tell you, 4 kids, 2 dogs. You can imagine what my floors have gone through this summer. And I say this summer, but it's going to be a fall thing too, as baseball is already getting underway. And I tell the kids, take the cleats off outside, please. And you know what they do? They take them off in the living room. And by the end of the week, there's a lot of dirt. There's a lot of paw prints. There's mystery stains. You never want to identify the mystery stains, but what I do is I call Zero Res. Zero Res is going to clean my carpets with their exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue, which means my carpets and upholstery don't just look insanely clean, they're staying clean longer. Now the kids can sprawl out on the floor, do their homework. The dogs can roll around, and I don't have to worry about what's in the fibers. They can do this for you too. And in August, you can get 3 rooms cleaned for just $109 and 20% off area rugs, upholstery, air ducts, and more. All you got to do is call Zero Res. It's as simple as that. 615-535-9376. 615-535-9376. Or you can book online, ZeroResNashville.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance.
All right, drivers in Murfreesboro, only one lane open, 24 westbound before Church Street, exit 81. It's backed up all the way to exit 84. And on a Monday, you got to love a headline like this. Don't be surprised if your health insurance premiums go up next year. Details at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, it's funny that health insurance premiums could go up because Donald Trump just said in the Oval Office moments ago that drug prices could decrease about 1,400%. Did you hear that earlier today?
I did not hear that.
Yeah, well, and I know the flag burning executive order is a big deal, and I got a lot of calls waiting for that. But Ken Weaver, he just squirreled me, so we'll get to the calls on the flags here in a second. But real quick, this was President Trump talking about drug prices earlier this morning.
Favored nations, where I'm going to be reducing drug prices by 1,500%. Where a pill that sells in Germany for $10 costs $150 here because of the bad price. And I was all set to do it, and then we had the COVID come up, and I had to focus on that because we had the greatest economy in history my first term. I will tell you that we are going to be doing numbers on the cost of drugs in this country that I'm not talking about a 20% decrease, which would be great. I'm talking about 1,000% decrease. We're talking about where a product would sell for $80 in Germany and $1,300 here. And we're not going to do that. We were subsidizing the entire world.
Facts.
And we're not doing it anymore. I informed the drug companies. I informed the world. And if the world wants to, if countries in the world don't want to go along, then I'm going to put tariffs on those countries, and we'll make more money.
That's Donald Trump. He's not lying. We do subsidize the world. We do all the research, and then 70% of the profits from Big Pharma come from, you guessed it, America. Got a lot of people hanging on the line. I want to talk about this executive order on flag burning. Steve, Antoine, Jamie, Tracy, Lorenzo. Hang on, guys. We'll get to your calls after the headlines with Ken Weaver, which starts right now on Super Talk.
11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. And don't be surprised if your health insurance premiums go up next year, says ABC's Sherry Preston.
After many years of relative stability, the health insurance market right now is in a period of uncertainty, says Larry Levitt, an executive vice president at the nonprofit KFF, which studies healthcare. Higher costs for prescriptions and more expensive medical treatments are driving up costs for insurers and employers. That could leave patients paying more for doctor visits and medicines, especially for those who get individual coverage through the marketplaces, where insurers are predicting the government will end some of the support that now helps people buy coverage. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
After his release from jail here in Tennessee on Friday, Salvadoran national Kilmar Abrego Garcia is now back in ICE custody in Maryland. Here's NBC's Gary Grumbach.
Several different options here that seemed to be on the table at the beginning of the day. First was he would plead guilty to the federal charges against him in Tennessee and then be deported to Costa Rica after serving a sentence. The second option was to be deported to Uganda as soon as Wednesday. And the third option, which it seems most likely that his attorneys are heading towards, is to fight the deportation to Uganda to ensure he has a due process before he's deported anywhere out of the U.S.
And in Rutherford County over the weekend, a man who had been reported missing was discovered dead in his record truck that had run off of I-24 and crashed. 68-year-old Danny Brown died after that truck hit a sign and a tree. Brown had been missing for a week. And legal experts say it could be months before we learn what the FBI took from John Bolton's home and office. President Trump's former national security advisor has been a vocal critic of the president and his administration. We do know the FBI agents left Bolton's home with boxes filled with documents and electronics. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:36, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I was just telling Mason, I was looking at these photos. I got a bunch of kids going for the first day of school today. But I was saying, my youngest boy, Bishop, what a stud. He's the cute one. We know. We tell everybody. He's the cute one.
He's the cute one?
He's the one. If you want to see the first day of school pictures, they're on my Instagram account, at Chris Hand on Air.
He's the one guaranteed smile from everybody.
I don't even need to tell you which one's Bishop. You'll know. They all got something. Kennedy's the actor, the actress. She's a stud singing. Brooks is just My wild man. He's jacked. The kid has like a six-pack and just will launch backflips whenever he wants. And he's 7 years old.
He's going to be a big sports prodigy for sure.
Oh, my gosh. And he's been crushing at baseball, too.
Let's go.
But Bishop is the cute one. Bishop's the cute one. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. We're talking about the executive order that Donald Trump signed this morning. If you burn an American flag, you're going to jail for a year. Now, the president says it's not really what you're doing when you're burning the flag. It's what happens after. You're inciting violence. You're creating a riot. Now, I want to get your instant reaction on this, and I don't really want to cloud it with my judgment too much. I could go either way. I see both sides of the story, and I'm not trying to ride the fence here. I'm just being honest. I know that Matt Murphy's going to have a spicy take come 3 o'clock. He's in physical therapy right now, and I think the fact that he can't come on the air currently pains him more than the physical therapy. But your instant reaction as we wait. Let's go to Lorenzo in Hendersonville up first. What's up, Lorenzo?
How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, thanks for holding. What do you got?
Hey, well, I'm a 22-year-old Mexican person, and I feel like burning the flag doesn't show strength or anything. It just shows ignorance and laziness. And only stupid people looking for problems do it. Because to make a real change, it takes hard work and not destruction, you know? You understand?
I completely understand, and I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I agree with you. But I would ask, does burning the flag deserve a year in jail?
Not really, but it will show people not to do it, you know? Like after you get 3-4 speeding tickets, you know not to speed, you know? And I feel like it's a good idea and it's a bad idea as well, but it will stop. People fought for this country, you know, and they fought for the flag. And I feel like it's pretty disrespectful for like someone to burn it. I don't know. It gets me kind of upset, mad.
No, man, I hear where you're at.
It's the right thing, you know, because if they stop doing it, I mean, there's going to be less. I don't know.
I hear you, man. It's a tough situation. You said you're 22, Lorenzo?
Yes, sir. I'm a 22-year-old, man.
Hey, man. Well, thanks for listening to the station. We need more Zoomers out there like you. I appreciate it. Calling
I'm going to start listening to it more, man.
Hey,
I heard
man.
it today, and I was like, man, this is what I like.
Hey, call in anytime, brother. I appreciate you.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go to Tracy in Summertown. What's up, Tracy?
Hey, Chris, I love your show.
Hey, thanks. What's your take on everything?
You, man. I just wanted to bring up the point that, you know, I agree with it, with the law, if it's out of blatant disrespect, but I'd like to say that not everyone who burns the flag is out of disrespect. You know, I don't know if it was just around where I grew up or if it's a thing everywhere, but we were taught when I was a kid, if the flag touches the ground, you have to burn it and put up a new one.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
I'm familiar with that too. I don't.
The opposite.
I don't think that's where they're going to be using this executive order. I don't think if a service member realizes that the flag has touched the ground and dispose of it the way that you guys have been taught to do, that anybody's going to get in trouble for that. I think this is specifically going to be used inside those inner cities during the riots.
For the reason they were wrote for.
Yeah, well, I hear you. Hey, I appreciate the call, Tracy. Let's go to Jamie in Cookeville. What's up, Jamie? Your thoughts?
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me on the show, man. You know, my whole thing with this is it's violence. You know, you had some calls earlier that the guys are saying if they go and they buy their own flag. How many times have we seen anybody go and buy their own flag? I mean, usually they're tearing down somebody else's flag. They're tearing it down at an institution or something like that.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, there's definitely been some scenarios, though, and you can find the videos online where you see the flags that they're burning, and they still got the creases in them. And that usually is a dead giveaway to me that you bought the flag to bring to the rally to burn. That's not every situation, and I'm sure you can find ample video evidence to support what you're saying, ripping them down and then burning those flags. But I wouldn't say that every single one is a purchase flag, and I wouldn't say every single one is a ripped-down flag. I bet you it's a mixed bag.
But then, you know, to that ripped down flag, it's violence, it's vandalism. Somebody bought that. In fact, it could be arson. I don't know what the jail term is for arson, but you're burning something that belongs to somebody else. It's not something that is yours. That's kind of my take on that. It's not just, again, kind of like Trump said, it's not so much the flag as much as it is the action and the fact that it's being than a lot of times to somebody else's.
Well, I appreciate the call, Jamie. Thanks, man. Let's go to Misty in Kentucky. What's up, Misty?
Hi, good afternoon, I believe.
Yeah, we're getting there, Misty. We're getting there. What's your take on everything?
Oh, yeah, I think that jail time would do somebody good for burning the American flag. If you don't like it here, get out.
Well, thanks for the call, Misty. Let's go to Antoine in White House. What's up, Antoine?
Hey, Chris. I just think we've missed it a lot, too, when it comes to the burning of the flag. I mean, honestly, freedom of speech has nothing to do with setting anything on fire.
Fair.
So I think we've got it all mixed up. I mean, what are you going to set a car on fire because it's freedom of speech? A building? Oh, a flag. I mean, it's a ridiculous thing, and it should just stop because it's against the law to be setting things on fire.
Yeah, well, we've seen them light the cars on fire, even as recent as the Waymo cabs in Los Angeles when they were protesting the deportations. They'll find something to light on fire. They sure will.
It's true. And the funny thing is they don't prosecute any of these people to set anything on fire.
No,
so that has to stop.
But I do believe that that's changing, where you're getting a lot of these individuals charged federally now as opposed to locally. And I know that's changed in the recent protests and riots that we saw in L.A. with individuals throwing rocks at police officers. You're absolutely right. Local officials aren't going to do anything because the local officials in your local blue city, they'll view these people as freedom fighters and heroes and letting their voices be heard. But the federal government's like, no. You can't throw rocks at police officers. You can't do that stuff. You can't burn stuff.
That time.
Amen. Amen. Hey, I appreciate the call. Thanks for holding, man. Let's go to Steven on the road. Steve, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Woo! This is a great subject, Chris. Thanks for taking my call, man.
Absolutely.
Me just tell you, brother, that when I see these idiots out here, man, on the news and on clips, on videos, on YouTube and wherever, that strikes a deep nerve in me, man. And, that flag stands for a lot more. Let me tell you, that red, white, and blue, man, every person that's in this country should realize that flag, among every other flag of every other country in this world, is at the very top of the list, man. That flag stands for our freedom. It stands for our Constitution, our rights, the First and Second Amendment, which is what every other country's flag needs in their Constitution. They need the First and Second Amendments. So I love it. I'm all for 1 year in prison, jail, whatever. I'm all for it. But let's take it to the next level. Not just burning the flag. Any desecration of that flag should be, you should face the charges, the full effect of the law on that. If you tear that flag, if you rip that flag, if you step on that flag, if you pee on that flag, whatever you do to desecrate that flag should face the same penalties, man.
At what point though are you infringing on other people's First Amendment rights?
You know what? The laws need to change about that flag, because it's not really about the amendment rights when it comes to desecrating that flag, because it is a symbol, but really it's what's inside of that flag is what it holds is the sacrifice of every person who has put their life on the line and lost their life since the beginning of that flag.
But
now,
what would you say to a veteran? We had a guy calling a little while ago on the show, and he got rather emotional about this. And
I heard him.
2 decades of service. A hero, a guy that served his country. That sounds like a greght guy. And he says, listen, man, I fought for you to be able to do that. What would you tell somebody who tells you that?
I know what he's talking about, and just like a lot of my family has fought all through generations, they've all fought for that. Even recently, our next door neighbors had their flag was falling, it was tearing up, it was dirty, and it was hanging off their pole. My pops went next door, ripped that flag down, and put a new flag up, because they didn't do it. They're younger, whatever. As far as that guy, he served our country. I see what he's talking about. You do have the right to do things, but when it comes to desecrating that flag, that's where the law needs to change. I'm glad that Trump is doing this. It's going to make people realize it's going to keep those of us who respect and honor our country and that flag. It's going to keep us from having to jump out of our skin and do something crazy. And it's going to let these idiots know you can come over here and act stupid all you want, but if you do anything to that flag, you're going to face the consequences. You know, I'm a Christian first, but I'm an American second, and I will lay down my life for both of those causes. Everything else behind that don't matter.
I hear you, Steve, and I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Again, President Trump signed a couple of executive orders today. The first one was eliminating cash bail in D.C., and at the same time, revoking federal funding from any city or state that has cashless bail policies. The second executive order that he signed this morning is generating a bit more conversation, and that is the banning of the burning of American flags. And if you do decide to burn an American flag, you'll get up to a year in jail. This was President Trump earlier this morning.
This is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your attorney general.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You can do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots.
That was the president earlier this morning inside the Oval Office. You heard him saying, you know, we had a bad Supreme Court who decided 5-4 that this was free speech. He disagrees. And he says when you burn that flag, you're inciting violence. So a couple things. Do you agree with the president? Are you for this executive order? And if this gets challenged, which it will, and it goes back to the Supreme Court, does Trump's Supreme Court make a different decision with a conservative majority? 615-737-9986. Ron in Manchester, you're up on Super Talk. What do you got?
Yeah, thank you. I'm in favor of most of Trump's executive orders, and I thought Biden executive orders sucked. But my question is, the law of the land should be in the hands of Congress and not executive orders according to the Constitution. Is there any explanation you can think of for that?
Yeah, I mean, this Congress has been sitting on their hands. It seems like Donald Trump has had to do everything via executive order. I don't think they've codified only one law since Trump has been in office. And with all the work he's doing, it does seem like he has to, run the country via executive order. But I think it's because the Republicans have been feckless. I don't know if the Republicans would take this up. I think this is going to be challenged and go all the way up to the Supreme Court. Do you think that Trump's Supreme Court sides with him in this scenario?
More often than not.
Do you agree with that, if they do agree with Donald Trump, if they side with him?
Yeah, I agree with most of everything he's done, but according to the Constitution, Congress ought to be making the laws and not whatever president is in there, good or bad.
Fair enough. I appreciate the call, Ron. I got time for one more. Let's go to Gary in Springfield. What's up, Gary?
Hey, thank you. I've got 20 years. I'm a retired veteran. Number one, while on active duty, I've seen that flag draped over a coffin. After active duty and being active in the VFW and American Legion, being the Honor Guard commander for several years, about 45 funerals for veterans, and we've done that, and it's a pretty powerful experience. That flag means everything for sacrifice. It should not be burned, and I agree with 1 year sentence. The other issue too is when we do burn the flag, there's a beautiful ceremony that we do in our VFW post, American Legion post together. It's twice a year. It's called retirement of the flag, and yes, it is cut in pieces, and it is literally through a beautiful ceremony of words and put into a barrel and burned. And we might retire 200-300 flags that people bring to us in Robertson County. So that, in effect, is an honorable thing, okay?
Yes, sir.
But the other is a horrible thing and tears me up, and I guarantee you the vast, vast, vast majority of veterans hate seeing the desecration of the United States flag, because we witnessed young people, really good people, sacrifice their lives for it.
Yeah, I hear where you're coming from, Gary, and I appreciate the call as always. It's 11:52. I'm sure this is going to be a topic of conversation this afternoon. I know Matt Murphy has a spicy take, and he's ready to unleash that on all of y'all. He's been texting me while he's at physical therapy. He's not very happy that he can't call in, but he's going to save his take for 3 o'clock. It's 11:52. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Now, before you ask, I definitely voted for this.
Okay. They don't take Reese's or food stamps no more, no candy. So they went live when they said they're going to take out all the snacks. They're taking away all the snacks on EBT. What's the point of having it?
God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds.
Go on, get your butt to work if you want to get some fudge rounds. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
The Reese, they didn't take the Reese out. Food stamps is boring right now.
11:57, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Chad Benson's in studio. Chad, do you love the executive order? Is it the best? Is it the greatest one he's ever signed?
No.
Which is your favorite executive order from President Trump?
Well, the Remain in Mexico's the strongest. There's no doubt. I mean, that is absolutely the number one executive order.
Your thoughts on the executive order today, the burning of the American flag?
Well, it's not really the burning of the flag, right? It's what happens after the flag is the key.
The angle.
That's the angle.
That's the angle. And I think that gives him a bit more leeway with what he wants to do. Does Trump's Supreme Court rule the same? Because this is going to be challenged.
No, I think if it got to the Supreme Court, they're going to rule that, no, that's free speech. We're not touching that. You can't, because if you start playing around with the speech, and remember, the speech, you may hate it, and who doesn't? The reality is, though, that's what speech is protected for, the hate speech. Because if you loved all the speech, you wouldn't need to protect it.
And I agree with protecting hate speech. I really do. Yeah. I think people should be allowed to say vile things. But what do you say to somebody who says that's not speech, that's an action?
Well, that's not it. I mean, because if you're going to say that's an action, there's a lot of stuff that gets classified as speech that are quote unquote actions. And you're going to end up finding out that's a rabbit hole you go down, and both the right and the left are going to find out there's a lot of stuff that they're going to be able to, go after.
What other speech could you classify as an action, though?
Well, what about like writing on a cake or not writing on a cake? What about some of these things that you're going to artwork or this, that, and the other they're going to go after, and you can't. Because what happens is when you start to pull that thread, man, you start pulling it, all of a sudden it all starts to unravel. We don't want that. And let's be real. This is meant to go after the protesters who do wackadoo things.
BLM, Antifa, the insane lunatics.
Absolutely.
Fringe elements.
Yeah.
6 months down the road, you're looking into a crystal ball. Where has this gone?
I don't even know if it gets to the Supreme Court. We'll see. I mean, it might get to the Supreme Court. It depends on how much he wants us to push it, right? Because somebody will take it to court. They'll end up losing because they'll pick the court they want to go to. Then they'll go up to the next court. Will they get it to the Supreme Court? Because it's not about the flag. It's about the crimes afterwards. The flag is just kind of the thing in front of it, the appetizer. It's really about the crimes. Because if you arrest somebody, it's because they did something after the flag.
All right. Well, Chad's in next. I'm sure he's got a lot to talk about. What else are you going to focus on today?
We're going to focus on what happened to your house today. That was a little weird because I looked at you this morning. I thought, man, he looks great on the TV.
It looked good.
And then all of a sudden, I'm like, what the hell's he doing here?
I got 300 feet of cable coming.
Fantastic.
I don't know how much of it I'm going to need, but I'm ready to go.
You can do
for
the
Wednesday.
whole city.
The whole neighborhood can join me and broadcast live with how much wire I got coming in.
So funny.
Chad's in next. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.